the swear jar doesn't really give you a lot of like gusto. But if you know, hey, if I get to 10 grand, I'm going to go on that golf trip. I'm going to buy more bourbon if I hit this number. Like, and that way there, it's not just slushing around. And most financial institutions, you can put nicknames on accounts. So if you put that in there, you're giving yourself a purpose. What am I doing this? Why is this there? Why am I putting money there?
Hello and welcome to Un Eff Your Finances podcast with your host, Nick St. George. I'm your podcast producer, RJ Malik. Nick, how you doing today?
Doing great, RJ. Great to see you.
Good to see you. And what do you got planned for us?
Well, I got my own, hey, I want to be financially fit for 25, want to get a couple more exercise, all that fun stuff. But truly, like, instead of just having like the one, hey, I'm going to be fine, like the New Year's resolution that everyone screws up by the end of the month. But go through a couple ideas of just, hey, how do you get yourself off on that right foot? What are a couple of different habits that you can change? Or if you take nothing out of this, do one of these 5 or 6 that we're going to go through that will, I don't know, help you a little bit. Like small steps it doesn't have to be perfect, but small steps make progress, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Like you can't just sit there and say, look, I'm not going to weigh 225 in a month. Like that's not a New Year's resolution. But if you can unlock a handful of couple different things, be financially aware. Sometimes part of this is you're extremely successful, you're extremely busy, job, family, kids, like whatever, the holidays, and you just kind of forget to look at this stuff. And it's not because you're not smart enough or you don't understand it. Time. Like you can't buy time. Just so you can't, health and time are like the two things. No matter how much money you have, you can't buy more.
Right. Okay. Then let's get to it. What would be the first thing you wanted to talk about then?
Yeah. So doing the small steps make that big impact. Let's go first one with audit your subscriptions. So this isn't just like gym memberships. Most people know if you're a membership of the gym, but go through it. I know in my household, I started looking through this, and the other problem is you get a couple different credit cards because different ones have different points. Like what's one on this one?
Right.
But like those TV subscriptions, like everyone wanted, cut the cord. And now it's like you have 12 different subscriptions because, I wanted to watch that football game. The kids want to stream that movie. Oh, I paid for, I don't know, credit monitoring. Because a lot of times if there's a data breach, you get people, we'll offer this for 3 months. And the next thing you know, you're getting charged for it.
Yeah, it's a monthly fee. I have a storage unit that I didn't forget about it, but it was not top of mind. And I, was paying it automatically and I wasn't even paying attention to the bill. And then all of a sudden I was looking at my email and I saw the bill. And I'm like, I haven't looked at that storage unit in 3 years. 3 years.
Time capsule.
Right. And every month I'm paying for stuff I don't care about anymore. So that's right now, my goal by the end of January 2025 is to have that emptied and out and off my plate. So I know what you're saying. Reviewing it's so important because you forget about things.
Yeah, and actually go through those statements. Go through your bank statements, go through your credit cards. Like I know I have several different ones, some for the business, some for the house, some because it saves you on the bill, whatever. Go through and take a look at it. And the other nice thing, typically your random insurance policy, stuff like that, give like an annual statement. So I have a particular client, they bought insurance like people buy Girl Scout cookies, like the random $10,000 death benefit here, 20,000, but you only get like an annual statement and they're typically paper because when you bought these, it's 90s. You're like, this sounds good. I need it. Or like the person that still has like the Gerber life plan that you are always told you had to buy for your kid. Check your mail in January. I personally got a notice recently. I apparently had $400 at old 401k and I did the rollover, but apparently there was like a profit sharing or something. And like, I got like the NASCAR, and the crazy part is I'm in the industry. I have plans with this provider and they were trying to verify me on an address from like when I first moved down here. And I'm over there like, think the house number was this. And they're like, that's kind of close, but you're not verified. I'm like, but it's like, even something like that, like I had online set up for it, like I did the rollover to my IRA, like, and that's the thing, you get these year-end statements, be on the lookout for that. So subscriptions, year-end statements, know what you're doing, take a little, just see it. And heck, are you still using it?
Right.
Right? Did
Right.
you get a gym membership? Did you get a, I don't know, massage of the month club? Did you get a bourbon of the month club? Oh, the Clark Griswold jelly of the month club. Like, what do you have these? Do you need these?
Right. That's yeah, it's a good thing to do to take a step back and that phrase, do you need these?
Yeah, what is that? I forget the name. It was like how to declutter. Like, does it make you happiness? And that other the other thing, like,
Right.
was it, I think 2 years ago I got a dumpster after Christmas because like the clutter, and it was just like gone.
It is so easy for stuff to just pile up.
I'm strongly debating another. This is going to be in January, but that couple, it might be time for a purge again. There's just stuff in the garage, like the amount of, if anyone needs some baseball cleats or baseball gloves, like the amount of stuff Bo just grows so fast. Like I have, they're great. Like I'm not gonna go sell them on Marketplace for $4, but if you got a kid that's playing sports locally, hit me up. I'm happy to give you some of Bo's stuff. It's not like I'm gonna go bronze them and be like, oh, his first cleats.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
but
awesome.
yeah, just purge the garage. Like that's the downside. We got rid of the golf cart and just filled it with more shit.
Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at your notes here, and it's talking about savings, giving it a name and a purpose. What
Yeah.
do you mean by that?
This isn't just name. His name was Robert Paulson. Like, but you could have the emergency fund. So you want to have 3 to 6 months, depending on it. If you're working, you think you can gainfully employed pretty quickly. That 3 month is usually a little bit better. And I also have, if you're a homeowner, 1% of your house value to cover like those unexpected HVAC stuff like that. So that's the emergency fund. That's not as sexy. But if you say, hey, vacation in Hawaii, new car fund, if you actually like purpose them versus like I don't know, the swear jar doesn't really give you a lot of like gusto. But if
No.
you know, hey, if I get to 10 grand, I'm gonna go on that golf trip. I'm gonna buy more bourbon if I hit this number. Like, and that way there it's not just slushing around. And most financial institutions, you can put nicknames on accounts. So if you put that in there, you're giving yourself a purpose. What am I doing this? Why is this there? Why am I putting money there? Versus just like, oh, emergencies. Well, what if it's like the fire extinguisher underneath your sink? You never have a fire, it kind of feels useless. Like, what do you do? Oh, emergency. I never had an emergency. What am I saving for?
Right. Right. Yeah. What my wife and I have done, we've been together for married for 18 years, together for 25. Giving gifts is not easy anymore. You get up to that point, and it's not easy. So what we've decided is instead of giving each other gifts, we're gonna do experiences together. An example is last October we went and saw Jeff Lynne and ELO in concert.
All right.
Yeah, it's something that we were like, yeah, let's treat ourselves to that. So that's what we're gonna do instead of birthday gifts. We're gonna give ourselves a
I'm
treat.
big on the experiences. How much junk you already have. It's so easy to order stuff. Pretty sure
Right.
I pissed off my family back home because I was like, hey, don't send random shit off of Amazon to the kids. Take them next time we're up there, take them ice cream. Go putt putt with them. Do an experience. They want time with you. Like they want to do something with you. Like, or take them to somewhere like when we go up to New England, like take them to a place that they haven't been to before that you think they'd like. Like, don't send the random, like, oh, this is the top gift for boys under the age 10. It's like, oh, like I appreciate the gesture, but like I know I got chewed out years ago. I was like, throw it in their 529. Oh, that's not fun. And it's just like they have enough stuff. Like the stuff they're asking for is bigger as it is. And it's like they have enough. Like it's do the experiences. I am big on experiences. You have enough toys and shiny objects. Go do something. Go to a sporting event. Go do that vacation. Like,
Yeah. It's cool because, that's something my wife and I, we've been talking about. And, when the Yellow song comes up on the radio, you have a big smile on our faces because it's like, oh, we had a great time. It was a great show. Jeff still cranking away in his late 70s. So it was pretty cool to watch.
and my brother, like you hear the music and smells are two things that can take you back to a place real quick. Like, for instance, I found some old hockey equipment one of the times at Hull. It smelled like my high school rink. And it's a very old rink. They used to have chain
Right?
link fence instead of glass. And then music. Like my brother was notorious. He'd give the family computer like literally like a disease to download like LimeWire music, but it was a mixtape to go on a trip. So you get that
Right.
mixtape and you make it, and it's like, oh, you hear that song, you're like, oh my God, I remember we were going here. And the experience.
Yeah, well, as I was talking about the storage unit, I was going through it last week. I found my college and high school yearbooks. And, my wife and I met later, so she didn't know me when I was in high school and college. Thank God. She probably would never have married me if she did. But so I brought the books out and she was looking through them and she was getting a big chuckle out of it because I still have friends from college and high school and she knows them and has met them. And seeing the pictures of them when they were 14, 15, 16 years old,
Oh yeah.
it's a big kick. So yeah, memories, you just can't beat that. So why don't we move on? And we're going to talk about debt next. So
Yeah. It's not the exciting thing. Nobody, but it's part of life. And we're not talking about chasing after like your mortgage, right? This is something that you can attack boss. It's the food pyramid. You can't start investing and saving and doing this, all the other stuff. If you got credit card debt clipping at 25, 28%. Recently saw an article talking about like, yes, they're starting to cut rates, like the Federal Reserve is doing that, but your interest rates on your credit cards, I think the average is 28 now, and there's some as high as 32.
yikes.
So you can't go start investing and doing all the other stuff to like until you get rid of that. Like that's like running on a treadmill and expecting to get somewhere. Like you're just not going to happen. So there's a couple different ways. Um, it's all on who you are. So if you want to look at the math, they call it the avalanche method. So you can pay off the highest interest rate first. But sometimes that's your biggest balance, and it may seem daunting, but mathematically, that's hey, you want to get rid of the highest interest rate first. They call that kind of avalanche.
You sort of attack that first and work on getting that down, pay your other bills, make sure you keep up with them. But
Yes,
if you're going to put anything extra, just focus it on the one item because that will,
the highest interest rate. They'll call that the avalanche. They don't look at how big it is. It's the highest rate,
I got it.
and you attack the highest rate first.
Okay, makes sense.
Or you can go what they call the snowball method and go with the smallest balance. You kind of be like, all right, that one's gone, and go balance, balance, and kind of work your way up and be a little more less agnostic on the interest rate, but more of, hey, it's nice. It feels good to check something off your to-do list, right? Hey, you signed up for a credit card at a department store. Let me get rid of that $300 one. Oh, and I'm going to go to this one that was 1,000. Even though the $5,000 card has the highest interest rate, but to feel like that gratification, you got it done. You got to know yourself. That goes back to relationship with money of which way is going to work best for you. But pick it and just go, just balls to the wall. Like you can't. You, as much as you want to go out to drink or go on a vacation, you have to be laser focused. Like until you're debt free, like don't get me wrong, go have a nice dinner, give yourself a little reward for getting it done, but don't pay off debt and then rack up 4 grand on a vacation. Like it's like,
Yeah.
what are we working on here?
But the thing is that to set a goal and no matter whether it's small or big, reach that goal because once you reach that goal, especially with the smaller ones, it's sort of the accumulative effect. You reach that one goal, okay, now I want to get to the next goal, and it's sort of
Exactly.
a way to motivate yourself to keep going and accomplish what you need to accomplish. So, all right, we want to talk about automate your way to wealth. I saw that on your notes. Explain that to me. I'm sort of lost.
You just said it and forget it. No, it's one of those things of yeah, if you're old enough to do that, we need to talk. If you remember those infomercials
Yes, I do. I
and
do.
not just the person like it's been cycling on, maybe it's just my feed of the person testing the ladder. It's like this and it just caves in the middle of it. But no, automate it. Like I suck with writing checks. I have bad handwriting. I hate writing checks. I hate having to go find my checkbook, lick a stamp. Well, you don't lick a stamp anymore. They're all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But automate it. Like my kids' college funds are automated. My retirement funds are automated. Automate it. And over the last couple of years, most of the bigger 401k providers have have automated automating it. So you can automatically say you want to add 1% every year, every 6 months, and they'll do it for you. Once you click it in there, you can automate when you rebalance, how often you increase it. So a lot of people are kind of getting, hey, you get your merit raise. 3, 4%, it hits in February. So you can set it a lot of times that you'll add a percent. Because realistically speaking, you want to be saving. This doesn't count your employee match, 10% of your income.
Mm,
If you really want to retire, most people are like, oh, they match 3%. I'm gonna put 3% in. I should be on track. It's like, no, you need a little more meat on that bone. Like, don't count their match as part of your savings amount. And if you're below that point, really focus every year adding 1%. Because 1% pre-tax isn't going to be that dramatic in your paycheck. Um,
okay, that makes sense.
and especially when you get a raise. When you get a raise, like definitely like try to skim a little off the top, be it automate savings for your after tax or 401k, automate it. Most banks and financial institutions, you can automate, hey, we're going to send 200 bucks here. We're going to do $100 there. Or we're going to add, automate it. The less you think about it, and that way, then when you go look at your bank account on your phone, you look at, oh, what my transactions are. If it's already gone, you're not going to spend it. You're not going to claw back money from your 401k. Like, yes, shit can hit the fan and you might have to for hardship reasons. But once it's out of the account, all right, this is what I have left.
Yeah.
So if you can automate that stuff,
I have one account that I have automated. Every month, a certain amount of money goes in. It's automatic. So yeah, that it's good. You feel good about it because, you know that money's not going to be there. So you make sure that you set everything up so you get used to not having that money.
exactly. And it's always trickier. Oh, I've never contributed. Well, all right, fine. If you've never contributed, at least get your company match. That start there, and then I add 1% from there on up. And this goes back to doing a budget. Know what your budget is. Like if you haven't checked your budget, like inflation has been pretty crazy the last couple of years, what you think you were spending. So that it's a good time kicking off the 2025, make it your best year ever. Know what your budget is. Maybe automate some savings. What does that look like? Do we need to add a little bit more? Did you have kids and now, hey, do we need to do some savings for college? Like there's different things, but the more you automate it, the less you think about it, the less likely you are to spend it.
Well, here's something else you have to start preparing for, and my wife and I have run into it. Now, Nick, I'm a little bit older than you, but aging parents, and my mom is 87 years old, my mother-in-law is 87 years old, and we are now in a position where we have to watch out for them and we have to take care of them, and that's not something that we were, when I was in my 40s, that was not something I was even spoken to about because one of the reasons was both my grandparents, both my grandfathers, they were gone before I was 8 years old. So,
Oh, wow.
those things, so those types of conversations.
And people are living longer, better drugs, better
Right.
food. And the further you are, the economic factor, typically you've had better habits, right? You're not just eating ramen noodles your whole life.
Right.
Like you've had, hey, I know I can take these supplements. And now it's like, I'm looking at what I'm taking. And I'm like, God, you're old. I'm like, I didn't think you could pull fat, but apparently I should take this supplement to maybe help myself recover a little bit better. Playing hockey now again on Fridays.
That's good.
It's like, oh my God, I forgot that my groin can hurt like this, but and then it's just it takes like 3 days to recover. I'm like, you're getting old, but
That's the worst. It used to be you could, do something and the next day you'd be, maybe a little sore. Now you do some kind of activity and it's 3 days later and you're like, wow, my back is still hurting. What's going on here? It's crazy. But you gotta, I guess the point is you got to keep yourself in shape and you got to keep your finances in shape.
correct. Money doesn't buy health. Get that exercise. That's my own personal. Like I'm reworking up this office up here. I got a massage chair. That was my big splurge for Black Friday. Um,
Nice.
I get the Walmart one. It was a lot cheaper, and I'm like, the kids love it. They think it's the greatest thing ever. I'm over there. I nearly got stuck when I put the zero gravity feature on. I'm like, how do I get out of it? It was like the first time, and I tilted all the way back, and I'm like, I can't put my arms down. Um, but I want to rework at this. I have one of those bikes. I was that sucker during COVID. I got a knockoff Peloton. So I got a Peloton thing, a row machine.
That's good though.
I figure if I rework this, that's my personal goal. Like, yes, I get some financial stuff, but like, yes, a little more exercise, take Nala for more walks.
Yeah.
Definitely good to clear my head when I get outside, but
It is
yeah,
good. All right.
Now this one's a little trickier. This is like the ones that are really trying to get into it. But no, date your money once a month. I'm guilty. I don't do this very often. With the business profit and loss, I'll look at that of just like where are we spending money? Like, hey, are we spending in marketing? Are we doing this or that? But it is just check it, right? Maybe this isn't truly a monthly thing, but check if you go through some of these things and automate your wealth and check out your subscriptions, paying down your debt, check your progress. You don't want to be doing a year-end review of your money in December and being like, "Oh shit, I forgot to do X, Y, or Z." You want to check in. I'm not going to sit there and tell you you have to do it once a month, but check once a quarter. Did your spending hold true? Did your saving hold true? Don't wait to the end of the year. Like I've seen a couple other people like, don't wait till 2025 to make your best year. It's like you still got 3 weeks in 24. Like, don't be the procrastinator. Check yourself, hold yourself accountable, and just sit down. Give yourself 15 minutes to look through. And it's a gift and the curse. You can pretty much see all your financial accounts from your phone. You don't need to have like this special login and all this other stuff. You can find everything. There's different websites that will like feed all into one, but go check on your spending. Like I get that credit card bill, I'm like, holy shit, that's high. Like, what did I do? Like, I don't feel like I did anything fun. Like scroll through the spending, see where the money went on.
That's sometimes that's easier said than done because if you know you've spent a lot, you don't want to look at that list because it's like, oh God, now I gotta.
Well, there's that meme. It's like, oh, somebody stole my spouse's credit card, but I don't want to turn it in because they're spending less than they did. Like but it's one of those things. Like you take a peek. Like so I'll take a look because I'm like, I don't think I spent that much this money. No, there's no way. And you start scrolling like, oh shit, yep, definitely did that.
Forgot
Oh,
about that. Yes. Yeah.
so
Wasn't that the month before? Oh no, it was last month. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that's the tricky one. So the trickier one will there, but we'll kind of bring it in with this kind of the last one is the treat yourself fund. Like once again, name it. So it has a purpose.
Yeah.
But like if you have some goals of paying off debt, this is where you throw a couple dollars. So when you hit your hurdle, you hit your goal, you hit your success point, like don't feel guilty that you go did a little something. Be it go out to dinner, you get your nails done, you get a massage, like go grab that bottle of bourbon, right? Like whatever, give yourself that carrot. Like well, all fun and no play makes Nick a dull man. You get The Shining.
The Shining, yes, yeah, yes, pages and pages, sure.
Yeah,
No, yes, all work and no play makes you a dull boy. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
like have something for fun. You got to live a little. Like I'm not sitting here telling you, hey, I probably could have retired by now if I stopped online purchases. I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
It's the gift and the curse of the phone, the internet, overnight shipping. Heck, I could. It always blows my mind when it's like you order it at like 2 and by 6 o'clock there's somebody on the steps.
Yes, they're knocking on the door. It's crazy.
And then I got pissed a couple weeks ago. I ordered something that I wanted to be there that day. Like I ordered it on some dog treats to get there that day. And I get this alert, unsafe delivery conditions. I'm like, what the? And they were claiming there was a coyote outside. And I was like,
No.
I have a doorbell camera. You're not here. And like you're marking it unsafe from 2 towns away. Just say you were done. Like just say, hey, I don't want to drive there tonight. I was so irritated because I was like, I wanted that.
Oh,
I was like, coyote,
that's
really?
that's
And
funny.
like you're messaging them through that app because it's your prime shipping, and they're like, somebody can get eaten tonight. It ain't gonna be me. I'm like, you're lazy. Like, just say you didn't want to come deliver it.
Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. Oh, well, you got it the next day?
Yeah, they showed up at like 5:40 in the morning. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Like, you didn't want to drive at 8 o'clock at night, but you're gonna be up that early. Maybe that's like their routine. Like, I can't fathom like driving. I don't know. It sucks this time of year as it is. Like, it's dark at 8 and it's dark at 6.
After I work, I go for a walk. I have to get some exercise. So I go for a walk. You know, when it's light out, it's nice. But this time of year, going for a walk, it's just, it's dark and it's not. the sun, obviously, you get more
Oh, it's
energy.
been dark and it's been raining here for like 3 days straight. Like my pool's about to crest again. I'm like, my dog, I literally walked out in the rain trying to get Nala to come out to go to the bathroom. She's like,
No,
no way. I'm gonna
I'm not.
piss on the carpet. I'm not getting my paws wet.
I'm not getting wet. That's great. All right, Nick. That was an interesting lineup that you had there, and it was actually good because a lot of it is just it's common sense, but it's also a great reminder because a couple of the topics that you were talking about, I'm like, yeah, I got to do that. I got to do that.
I'm not recreating the wheel, but like you need these reminders to get your year off. Everyone's kind of have that little bit of inspiration. It's January.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. And heck, if you add one or two of these things and you weren't gonna do it before, this is a success. Like I'm not expecting you to be like, look, I did all 5 out of 6. Like,
right.
and it's all to varying like parts. Like if you don't have any subscriptions, what are you looking for? Right? Oh, I pay cash for everything. It's more of the downside of credit cards, no different than a casino. Like it's easier because you don't really feel like the cash versus like you're
Yeah,
it is what it is. But no, these are not earth shattering. But if you have questions on your own stuff, definitely hit me up. We can run through. We get some budget and balance sheet worksheets. Try to help you cut through the noise. Get that plan in place, and hey, maybe just have that second set of eyes. Where's your blind spot for 2025? And that's not something I can explain here. That's you. That's
yeah. That's a good point. Contact information, Nick.
all right, Nick at stgeorgewealth.com. stgeorgewealth.com is the website. Nick St. George CFP, I think, is on Facebook and LinkedIn. Number is 828-481-8836. And always find me online here, the podcast. Pretty easy to find. The calendar's on the website as well. So it's really easy. Book that, ask me anything. It's like a 20-minute Zoom or phone call. Like that's free. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'd rather you have a good answer from me than some nonsense down a rabbit hole on the internet.
Sounds good. All right, Nick, thank you very much. And looking forward to your next podcast. And thank you for listening to today's Un Eff Your Finances podcast. Please like, follow, and share this podcast with friends and family. And until next time, I'm RJ Malik.
Thank you for listening to the Un Eff Your Finances podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at www.stgeorgewealth.com or give us a call at 828-481-8836. And don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of St. George Wealth Management. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA and SIPC.
Any guests and their company or companies are not affiliated or endorsed by LPL Financial unless otherwise stated. Individual tax and legal matters should be discussed with your tax or legal professional. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. There is no assurance that the techniques and strategies discussed are suitable for all investors or will yield positive outcomes. The purchase of certain securities may be required to affect some of the strategies. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of principal.